Hey, what's up guys, it's BenBonk, and I recently entered the 46 Ludum game jam. And while I'm very happy with the game that I made, it still has a lot of bugs and things that I'd like to fix. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the process of me upgrading my Ludum 46 game. But before we do get in the video guys, I want to thank you guys for all the support I got in my last video. It is insane that we gained almost 100 subscribers in the last 5 days. And my last video ended up almost getting 2,000 views and over 100 likes, which I cannot thank you guys enough, and thank you for all the support on the channel recently. I also want to announce that I have created a Discord server, and if you want to join that, the link will be in the description below. It's just going to be kind of a community for game developers, and if you have any suggestions for my game, you can just shoot me them there, and I should be pretty active on that Discord server. So yeah, if you want to join, that'd be pretty cool. And finally, the last thing, I don't want to keep you waiting, but the last thing is that I'm not going to be totally stopping my hacker game Devlog series. I'm just going to be taking a short break because I've been kind of demotivated recently. It's been really hard to work on it. So I'm taking a short break from that just to work on upgrading my Slimekeep game. So yeah, don't worry, I'm not totally abandoning the project, but I am taking a short break for it right now. So without further ado, let's get into the devlog. So originally I was thinking I was not going to just do anything with my Slimekeep game anymore. I was just going to leave it in the current state as it is. But as I started to get more feedback, I started to think of more ideas and things that I could make and turn this game into a much better game. Since there are a lot of issues with the original game, I still think it's a really good game. There's just a lot of things that I could do much better. First thing I actually did was create a Google Doc, and I took all the feedback that I've really gotten, all the suggestions to the game that I should make, and all the issues, errors, glitches, and I just wrote them into this one big, not that big, Google Docs document. And I pretty much had, this is just going to be my checklist for everything I wanted to add into the game. The original concept for this game was kind of a high score shoot 'em up, survive as long as you can sort of game. But I had this different kind of idea for a more, level based survive, while still including the keep it alive theme. Instead of having it just be a high score based theme, having it kind of be level based and venture through different rooms with different enemy spawners. So that's kind of the direction I wanted to go. So the first thing that I wanted to do and implement into my game was make a kind of bullet system. So I started off by making some bullet art. I really don't know why I didn't make any bullet art for the compo game, but it made the game look so much better, and I don't really know why I didn't add this. I guess I just kind of forgot about it. So I made that bullet art, and I also worked on some kind of bullet UI in the bottom right corner. So you would display, your kind of weapon that you would have, what it was called, all the bullets that you have, and how many bullets you have in total, and that kind of stuff. And I also started working on this bullet kind of system. And pretty much I wanted to have it where you'd have like a row of 9 bullets or whatever. And once you shoot all of those out, you have to reload, kind of in games like, Nuclear Throne or Enter the Gungeon, kind of one of those reload systems. And after hours and hours of work, because I've never really done a reload system before, I got it working, I got all the UI functioning, and this took pretty much my whole entire afternoon and morning to get working, but I'm really happy how it turned out, and it looks pretty cool, so that's pretty much what it looks like. The next thing that I ended up adding, or technically removing, was my third camera feature. Pretty much in my game I had 3 different cameras I could switch from, and a lot of people were saying that the third camera was kind of made the game too unfair. So I pretty much ended up just simply removing that and made it so you can only switch between the 2 cameras. And I also removed the feature where you can press R to restart. Since this was going to be a room-based game, I made sure to then make a kind of room swapping system. So pretty much you can enter a room and you can exit that kind of room. So you can just go between different rooms. And also set up this kind of house scene where I think my player will spend most of his time, or just pretty much be his kind of home base area for the game. This was kind of difficult because I did have to make it so my player could swap cameras and when he's in this certain room, but when he's in other certain rooms he wouldn't be able to swap cameras. So eventually I had to kind of rework my camera swapping system. I got it working and it works just fine. I also wanted to make sure that my player would actually know when he takes damage, so I made a pretty big screen shake whenever he does take damage. Another really important mechanic that I needed was whenever you enter a spawner room, or a room with a spawner, I made sure that you cannot leave that room and that you're stuck in that room until you kill all the enemies in that room. I've used this kind of mechanic in other kind of games before, but I kind of adapted it to this kind of game. So I pretty much made it so you should have to kill all the enemies, and the enemies will spawn for, let's say, 10 seconds or 20 seconds, I can choose, and once I've killed all of them, I can leave the room, go back in, and they won't start spawning again. So instead of kind of keeping the high score feature, I kind of replaced that system with a bits feature. So I pretty much drew this sprite inside of a sprite, and I imported it into Unity, and I kind of set up this bit script that I've used in other sort of games, where once you kill an enemy, it'll drop a bit, and then once you've killed all the enemies in the room, the bits will come towards you. You can and they'll just, go straight towards you, and once you pick them up or collect them, they give you a random amount of kind of bits, and then I made some bits UI, then you can see how many bits you have, and I'm planning to have something like, I still want to keep the essence of the game, the essence of the theme, keep it alive, and still make the Slimekeep, but kind of change it up. So I'm planning to make it where you can the bigger the slimes are, the more bits they'll drop, and then you can use these bits to I'm probably gonna make a shop, and you can buy more ammo, buy more health, that kind of stuff with these bits, kind of like Enter the Gungeon. Another issue that my game had was that it was a little too green, and I wish there was a bit more contrast with the kind of slimes. And I had this also suggestion by more than a few people, so I drew all my slimes into this kind of darker green so you can more easily tell what are the slimes and what is the background. I really like my old slimes, but I think these slimes will suit the game better. Some more really good feedback that I got was to make some more animation, so I added in a death animation, and I can see my slimes move around, I can shoot them, my reload system works, and everything is just working as a whole. As I've been watching this devlog, you also might have known or noticed that I've been changing up my bullets UI a lot, and I've really not been too happy with it, so I kind of changed it all around, and I made some more backgrounds kind of for the bullets UI, and for the bottom right corner, I think it makes it look a lot better. So there's like the end result, and everything, you can see it clearly, and it looks pretty clean on the screen. Another small issue I was having was my trees weren't, and my house weren't looking too good at where my player would live. So I created this new kind of tree, and inside of that I edited it to make it look more like it would fit the kind of resolution and theme of the game. And I also wasn't too happy with the house at all. So I spent quite a few time kind of changing up the house. As you can see, I made this house is kind of the same house that I used for my hacker game, so I kind of am guilty of just stripping that off there. But I started making a more low resolution house. I'm still very happy with it, and I think it looks really good overall. This game was also my first game that actually used a custom cursor in, and I quickly found out, and I also kind of realized in playtesting, that my cursor was way too small. And I've never really used Unity's cursor system really before, but I eventually changed it up, and I figured out I had to change my cursor around. I got it so my cursor would be much bigger, and you can actually see the cursor much easier now. The next thing that I really need to fix was my bullet collision system. And originally I thought I made this and I fixed this, but it turns out there's still a major problem. So I'll run through that problem right now. The issue was that my player would shoot a bullet, and it seemed like the bullet would go through an enemy, which was not good. The thing is, I could have just fixed this by giving my enemy a much bigger collider. The thing is with this, is that my enemy might seem like he has too big of a collider and not collided with walls properly, and attack my player from farther away than he's supposed to be. Now, previously I was handling my shooting whenever I shoot a bullet with ray casts, which are a way of going about shooting a ray whenever I shoot my bullet. The thing is, the ray is the actual collider, and so even though it may look like my bullet is the collider, the ray was actually the collider, and so it's just a short line that is invisible to the player. And so the thing is, it could sometimes look like my player is shooting a bullet and it hits an enemy, but just goes through it because the actual collider, which is the super thin ray, does not hit the enemy. Upon doing some research, I found out there's things called circle casts, which are basically just ray casts, but there's also an extra parameter which can make them a little bit thicker so they can detect my enemy more properly. I switched to circle casts, and in no time my enemy collider issue was fixed. Now the final thing I wanted to fix in this devlog was that my enemies were pretty plain right now and their movement was not the most entertaining. So I spent some time and I made it so now my enemies can actually, navigate towards you and they won't just get stuck. So it's making my enemies much smarter, and I used some A-star pathfinding to get this working, which is pretty simple to set up actually, and it works really well, and now they'll actually move towards you without being clumsy. And for some extra polish, the absolute final thing I did was whenever my slimes upgrade, I actually made a kind of short upgrade animation, which is very subtle but nice. And yeah guys, that's pretty much the end of the devlog. I didn't want to make this devlog too long, and I still have a lot of things I want to add to this game, like a slime combination mechanic possibly, more weapons, more slimes variety, all that kind of different stuff, more levels, all that kind of stuff. This isn't really a level yet, but yeah. So I hope you guys did like this devlog. I think there's so much more I can do. I still have a lot to work on, but this is just the exact, the basics of what we have so far. So if you do have any suggestions, feel free to, leave them in the comments below. Join the Discord. I'll be pretty active on there. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, I hope you guys like this devlog, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.